Franklin County Board of Commissioners General Session for February 21st, 2023. As a reminder, this is a public meeting. It's being recorded. So if those of you that are calling in could please remember to mute your line. We'll begin this morning's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Crowley.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So today, we continue with the speakers in honor of Black History Month. The speakers help us to recognize and celebrate the month while sharing history that is rarely told to us and can never be forgotten. Anthony Wilson, the Chief Diversity Officer for the Columbus Metropolitan Library, will speak with us this morning about how programming has educated and empowered residents, sparking change. Mr. Wilson holds a doctorate in organizational leadership, was a former Assistant Chief of Police in Westerville, and is the Vice Chair of the Downtown Columbus Discovery Special Improvement District Board. Mr. Wilson is with us virtually and will also share how the library's Speak Up, Speak Out program is making a difference now. Mr. Wilson?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning about some of the programs the Columbus Metropolitan Library utilizing to engage our Franklin County residents. Again, my name is Dr. Anthony Wilson. I'm the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for the Columbus Metropolitan Library. At the Columbus Metropolitan Library, the month-long spotlight during February is an opportunity for people to engage with Black histories, go beyond discussions of racism and slavery, and highlight Black leaders and accomplishments. And before highlighting two of our programs, I wanted to let the Commission know that our library has scheduled 37 programs during Black History Month to engage our customers. The main library is currently the host site for the Traveling Undesigned The Red Line exhibit, which will be on view from February 15th to March 15th. This exhibit explores the history of structural racism and inequality through the lens of the 1936 Residential Security or Redlining map, and how those structural designs continue to impact our community's growth, wealth, and well-being. This morning, I want to take a few minutes to update the commissioners on two of the programs the library has implemented that are having a positive impact on our communities. In 2021, the Columbus Metropolitan Library began hosting a series of programs about race, racism, and social justice titled Speak Up, Speak Out. The program included monthly conversations with community leaders on a book or film from the library's collection centered on race. We invited the community to join us in reading, discussing, and reflecting upon the book. In 2022, we held 3 Speak Up, Speak Out sessions, and I was fortunate to be able to moderate the panel discussions with many of our community leaders. Following those panel discussions, the library held virtual book discussions where members of the community could share their thoughts. The final part of the session was a virtual talk with the author of the book. And the 2022 authors were Ijeoma Luo and her book, So You Want to Talk About Race, Tim Wise and his book, White Like Me, Reflections on Race from a Privileged Son, and Ta-Nehisi Coates and his book, Between the World and Me. And for the virtual talk with Ta-Nehisi, we had over 400 people register, and the participation was lively and the feedback from the attendees was phenomenal. One of the things I would be remiss if I did not mention the contribution by Joy Bivens, who was so amazing in that first community panel that many of the attendees wanted her to come back for the Ta-Nehisi Coates panel discussion. The other program I wanted to highlight is the Culture Pass program. In 2018, the Columbus Metropolitan Library piloted the Culture Pass program. The idea was to offer library card holders free admission to select Central Ohio cultural institutions, such as the Franklin Park Conservatory and the Wexner Center of the Arts. The program enabled library customers to borrow passes just as they would a book using their library card. And this one-time pass, which had to be checked out in person, granted customers limited free access to institutions that would otherwise charge admission fees. And since 2018, and under the leadership of our Chief Community Engagement Officer, Donna Zeiderwag, a library card holder can now gain free admission to the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, the Columbus Museum of Art, the Ohio History Connection, Ballet Met, and several other cultural institutions in Franklin County. And this is huge for a lot of our youth that, and customers that may not be able to afford to attend some of those institutions or to go visit. This allows them that opportunity to go for free by having a library card. So the Culture Pass program allows us to provide people with that opportunity to visit the amazing educational and art institutions we have right here in Central Ohio. And as a public library, we are more than books. We are an institution that is open to all, and we want to be a resource to provide access to other places that help people expand their knowledge. As you know, our library is more than a home for books. It also offers spaces to listen, to reflect, and grow. And those are just two of the programs the library has implemented to further engage our communities and provide opportunities to learn more about the history of not just Columbus and Franklin County, but all of Ohio. And finally, if you are not aware, we are celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Columbus Metropolitan Library. It all started in 1873 in a single reading room, and now we have 23 locations serving our Franklin County residents. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak with you this morning. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners? Anybody? Well, Dr. Wilson, thank you for being with us today. It's important to do the programs and be involved in the programs that you are doing at the library, especially in this time when states all over the country, led by the state of Florida, certainly, and certainly the Ohio legislature are passing or trying to pass laws that would certainly curtail the type of education that you're providing at the library there. And, we continue to monitor what is going on in the Ohio legislature, and we'll continue to do all that we can to help defeat laws that they would seek to pass, especially since we here in Franklin County believe in diversity, equity, inclusion. And so we appreciate the work that you're doing. I know Commissioner Boyce would like to say something as well.
Thank you, President O'Grady, and certainly well said. I'm not sure I can add to that part, but Mr. Wilson, thank you so much for what you're doing and what you represent in the name of preserving history. But if let's say Franklin County or another agency has materials or things they should, that they want to donate or submit, I know a lot of that goes to the Ohio Historical Society, but is there a way that they can submit things to the Columbus Metropolitan Library System too? Artifacts, historical documents, picture, photos, that kind of thing, and if so, how so?
Yes, so we have, that's a great question too. We have our local history and genealogy department, which is actually located on the 3rd floor of our main library. They would be more than happy and willing to accept any artifacts or anything of a historical nature. They're always researching and looking for opportunities to add to the collection that we have. And we also have all the dispatch archives too. So yeah, great question. And we would be more than willing and happy to take any information.
Great, thank you.
And I know this is a tiny bit off topic with you, Dr. Wilson, but Administrator Wilson, I know we are planning a trip through the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. How are things going with that, if you don't mind? And if you wouldn't mind maybe explaining.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Grady. Yes, our Chief Diversity, Economic Inclusion Officer is in fact in planning a trip. Allocation and planning was included in the 2023 budget approved by this board. It is expected that a trip will occur this summer in mid-June, traveling various locations along the Civil Rights Tour, centered in Montgomery, Alabama, Selma, Alabama, and other locations over the course of a couple of days. There will be at least a delegation of 14 Franklin County officials, staff, including the board, and anticipated to go on this tour. This will be the first of a number of tours we plan. We've made great progress, as you all know, with our cohorts of our Racial Equity Council. and the work we've done since the point in time which you all declared racism as a public health crisis and declared racial equity as one of your core principles. And what was done was that there wasn't just the declaration of words, but a call for actions. And this is just another example of our staff, after this inaugural visit, having other visits, to see firsthand Black history, American history, and the journey that we've all traveled, and how this informs us and guides our work as you all tackle the major public policy challenges of the day that even dates back to that legacy of 400 years of racism and structural oppression that we still deal with the remnants of today.
Thank you. Dr. Wilson, we appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you, and I appreciate the support from the commission. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You do the
too.
same.
Too.
All right. We appreciate you sharing all those stories. Continues to underscore how we can all make a difference, and thank you for being with us today. So let's move on with today's agenda. First up is the auditor.
Resolution number 9323. Resolution authorizing a master service agreement with Jotform Incorporated for the procurement of an online form builder and form creator in the amount of $9,618.
Good morning, Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner Carley, and President O'Grady. I'm Michael Cinziano. I have the honor of serving as your Franklin County Auditor. Joining me on behalf of the Auditor's Office is Sean Dunleavy, our IT Manager, as well as Trenton Weaver, who serves in the Auditor's Office as Staff Counsel. This morning, the resolution is to enter into a master service agreement with Jotform for the purpose of procuring an online form builder and form creator service. As you are all aware, the commitment of this administration has been to make the office much more accessible to the businesses and residents throughout Franklin County, with the goal of really bringing the office into the 21st century. This resolution will help us do that with helping us convert approximately 50 paper forms and applications to web forms. Thus, all Franklin County departments will be able to move a lot of the paper to electronic. It'll range from the licensing division, our homestead division, our board of revision, and our property tax assistant program, just to name a few. The use of the service will improve the overall accuracy of completed forms and will ensure the forms are ADA compliant. And will also be able to be translated for residents that English may not be their first language. Pending any questions, we appreciate your consideration and ultimate approval of the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Auditor. If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 93-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 9323 has been adopted.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Auditor. And on to the coroner now.
Resolution number 9423. Resolution authorizing two agreements with the Drug Enforcement Agency to participate in sharing information for input into the National Forensic Laboratory Information System, and to authorize the county administrator to sign on behalf of the coroner.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Amanda Wright. I'm the Director of Operations for the Coroner's Office, representing Dr. Obermeyer, the coroner. So this resolution presented to you today is to authorize two agreements with the Drug Enforcement Administration for the purpose of participating in sharing of information with the National Forensic Laboratory Information System. So it's the NFLIS. This program is expanding to include a continuous drug surveillance program that collects toxicological data from toxicology laboratories and the presence of drugs identified in death cases reported to the coroner's office, to support and complement the current information that the NFLIS drug. The DEA is gathering information for this program through voluntary partnerships, such as with coroner's offices like us, to provide the data and help a comprehensive picture of the nation's drug problem and used in strategic and tactical drug control plans, policies, and operations. The second part of this agreement is a resolution that is being presented for a data sharing agreement between the DEA and the Franklin County Commissioners on behalf of the coroner, and the exchange of that information between the coroner's office and the DEA. for the purpose of drug identification results associated with information from drug cases submitted to the analysis for participating laboratories. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Amanda. If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 94-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 9423 has been adopted. Resolution number 9523, resolution authorizing an amendment to the current contract with Forensic Pathology Services, LLC, doing business as Forensic Pathology Staffing, a forensic services consulting firm for locum physician services for the Franklin County Coroner's Office in the amount of $360,000.
This resolution is a contract extension with the Forensic Pathology Services. They provide the locum physicians with the specialty training of performing autopsies. These services have been performed by the Coroner's Office that require our forensic pathologists to perform and determine cause and manner of death. So the agreement is to extend the terms of the original agreement for an additional 6 months with a new expiration date of September 15th of 2023. The contract amendment will also add an additional $360,000 not to exceed amount from the original agreement. Pending any questions, we do ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 95-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 9523 has been adopted.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Amanda, I was gonna
Yes.
say, you know, pitchers and catchers reported last week, and that remains a terrible hat in the back of your, you know. Okay, we own the
It's fine.
Columbus Clippers. Can we not get this woman a decent hat? Good Lord. All right,
I'll see what I can find.
have a great
We'll
day.
send one right over to you.
Have a great day. All right, to the engineer.
Resolution number 9623, replacement or rehabilitation of various bridges and structures in Franklin County, Ohio declared necessary.
Good morning, Commissioners. County Administration, Fritz Crozier, Chief Deputy of Engineering for County Engineer Robertson. And Commissioner O'Grady, I will say I am a Pirates fan, so I'm already looking
Well,
forward to next
that's
year's
okay, because they're
NFL
terrible.
season.
That's okay. You're allowed to be a Pirates fan. They're terrible.
Already looking forward to the NFL season.
Likewise.
Commissioners, as stated, this resolution declares necessary the replacement or rehabilitation of 7 structures in Franklin County as follows. Central College Road over a tributary of Big Walnut Creek. This is a 36-inch pipe culvert in critical condition with advancing deterioration and joints that have separated. Cooper Road over Noble Run. This is a 38-foot single-span box beam bridge built 53 years ago in 1970. Rehabilitation of this bridge is required to do outside fascia beams that have experienced moderate to severe deterioration in order to prolong the useful life of the bridge. Dempsey Road over Spring Run is a 44-foot single-span box beam bridge built 29 years ago in 1994 and is in poor condition due to deterioration caused by leaking joints that have exposed pre-stressed strands. The rehabilitation will also widen the superstructure to accommodate for a future shared use path. Pontius Road over a tributary of Little Walnut Creek. This is a 36-inch cast iron pipe culvert that has been lined with a smaller corrugated pipe. The structure is rated in serious condition due to significant settlement. We will completely replace this structure. Fishinger Road over Scioto River. This is a 699-foot four-span steel beam bridge built 35 years ago in 1988. The paint on this beam is failing and needs to be reapplied, and the bridge deck needs to be resurfaced. In the spirit of complete streets, we will also look into ways to add a shared use path along the south side of the bridge. Schleppe Road over Bebelheimer Ditch is a 20-foot single-span reinforced concrete slab bridge built 105 years ago in 1918. The structure is rated in poor condition due to spalled concrete, exposed reinforcing steel, and leakage. We will completely replace this structure. And our final bridge is Grove City Road over Hellbrange Run. This is a 56-foot single-span steel beam bridge built 118 years ago in 1905. Structure is rated in satisfactory condition. However, due to its age, we have concern that its useful life is being diminished by ever-increasing truckloads. We also have concerns for EVs, which are known to be 30 to 50% heavier than their gasoline-powered counterparts. Heavier vehicles accelerate the wear and tear on our roads and bridges. We will combat this by outfitting the existing steel beams with shear studs to increase the load rate. This resolution will allow us to enter in agreements, sign documents, and hire engineering consultants as necessary to complete the planning, design, and construction of the new bridges. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Fritz. Given all of the discussion around electric vehicle direction, the auto manufacturers have all declared that they're going fully EV by 2030. Some of them maybe even sooner. You're starting to see states, California, New Jersey, just recently declared that they're going to be going toward electric vehicle usage. So would you have to do this at all bridges? Would that work, given the weight of the cars, and they're only probably going to get heavier, given the battery issue that they're trying to work out in terms of distance that they can travel. So is there a game plan for that, and kind of how are we looking at the bigger picture with EV development?
Yeah, we certainly are cognizant and need to be cognizant going forward and aware of the increased weight of some of the vehicles that we'll be seeing using our roadways. That'll definitely have to come into our design and planning as we rehabilitate and replace all of our bridges.
So, but if we could though, so you're saying we haven't planned, but it's something that's got to be taken into account. Is that basically what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, given, it might be something, I'd be happy to talk to the engineer directly about it, but given, I'm someone that's kind of involved in that arena and away from the county. And given the direction that, even the White House has made a very, I think, heavy declaration and commitment, the Department of Transportation, we probably should really begin to think about that and maybe even advocate with our congressional delegation with regards to resources to support some of that work and get ahead of it before everybody else sort of catches on to the need for that, and then we're competing for those resources in a different way. Just a thought.
Absolutely.
Yep, thank you.
If there are no additional questions or comments, I move for approval of Resolution 96-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 9623 has been adopted. Resolution number 9723, Corda Nemeth Engineering Incorporated Consulting Engineers appointed to assist the Franklin County Engineer by providing preliminary engineering design services for the Lancaster Avenue 0.04 over French Run, Truro Township, and City of Reynoldsburg, Franklin County, in the amount of $165,651.
Commissioners, as mentioned, our second resolution seeks approval of a contract with Corda Nemeth Engineering Consulting Engineers to assist the engineer by providing preliminary engineering design services for the Lancaster Avenue 0.04 over French Run Bridge located in the City of Reynoldsburg. Corda is a local engineering firm and was chosen via the engineer's qualifications-based selection process. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 97-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 9723 has been adopted.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
Fritz.
Have a good one.
The Emergency Management Agency.
Resolution number 9823, resolution authorizing the Franklin County Administrator and Director of Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security to execute an FY 2022 State Homeland Security Program grant and authorizing the Director of Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security to be the designated agent for administration purposes in the amount of $321,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Young, representing Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security. This resolution authorizes the county administrator to execute the grant agreement with Ohio EMA for the FY 2022 State Homeland Security Grant Program. Ohio EMA is the administrative agent for this federal program, and for fiscal year 2022, Ohio EMA transitioned from a regional award to competitive project awards based upon the current national priorities. Election security is one of the fiscal year 2022 national priorities, and this Franklin County grant agreement includes a project to further secure the ingress and egress areas of the Board of Elections facility, improving the safety of the staff and the resources located in the early voting center. Also included in this grant agreement is a project for community response team outreach and mobile education to our disaster-focused volunteer groups. Taking the national curriculum out to the community helps us to increase neighborhood awareness and hopefully increases participation in the volunteer programs. All procurement for these projects will follow the county policies and processes, as well as be reviewed by the Ohio EMA for program compliance. I'll gladly answer any questions you have and ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 98-23.
Sir. A second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 9823 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Community partnerships.
Resolution number 12123, resolution authorizing community partnership grant agreements with various health equity partners for calendar year 2023 in the amount of $1,558,000.
Good morning, Commissioners, County Administration. This is Curtis Brown, Community Partnerships Administrator. The next two resolutions for community partnerships will be providing grants to nonprofit organizations in Franklin County in the amount of $1,683,000 for the 2023 Health Equity Grant. The first resolution will provide funding to 8 nonprofit organizations in Franklin County, and the second resolution will provide an additional health equity grant. Over 55 nonprofit organizations in Franklin County applied for this grant. After a review and scoring process, 9 organizations were selected to be health equity grant recipients for 2023. The Health Equity Grant funds agencies that will provide more equitable access to health care or positive health outcomes for Franklin County residents. This grant aligns with goals 8 and 9 of the Franklin County Rise Together Poverty Blueprint. And if there are no questions, I respectfully request the approval of this resolution.
Mr. President?
Please.
Yeah, thank you, Curtis. Great job on this program, but maybe talk a little bit about the selection criteria and how you went about narrowing it down to the 9 agencies that we're funding, and then maybe speak to the fact that if the agencies that didn't get funded will have an opportunity to come back next year, when that'll be, and how you're communicating with them about why they weren't selected, that kind of thing.
Sure. Well, whenever we have organizations that apply for grant funding, there is a process. So with this particular grant, we looked for a particular focus of organizations that were providing health care or health services to Franklin County residents. And of course, they also needed to be considered a nonprofit organization in order to apply for funding, to be eligible for funding. We did put together a review team that reviewed the proposals. We have a scoring rubric that we use. We do look to make sure that the organization is in good standing financially and from a structural standpoint. We also look at their financials as a whole. We look to make sure that their organizations have programs that are sustainable. We look at their previous, if they have had previous dealings with the county receiving funding for programming. And also the foundation is we look at to see if the work that they're providing, the services that they're providing are aligning with the work that Franklin County Commissioners feel that needs to be addressed, which in this particular case was providing equitable health care services to populations in Franklin County who have been historically underserved. So that's the criteria that we look for this. And to your second question, if organizations were not selected for this particular grant, we do have another health equity grant process that will happen for the 2024 year that we will open at the start of next year. However, we will also have an additional grant opportunity for the programming side this year for our community partnerships grant, which that application is slated to open in the spring. However, before that, if there's an organization who is looking for funding for capital projects or capital improvement projects in their facilities, we will have a capital grant that will open up next before the programming for the General Community Partnerships Grant. So for any nonprofit leaders that are interested or watching, or if they were not selected for this grant, I would encourage them to reach out to us to find out more information how they can apply.
I just recently sent some people to you.
Great.
Outstanding, thank you.
So hopefully that answers your
It did, thank
question.
you.
Great.
Thank you.
I have a question,
Go, please.
Mr. President. Thank you. For the organizations who may have applied and got selected, but also the ones who didn't, is there any type of coordination of services? Sometimes we see where organizations are duplicating efforts, and even though organization may not have been granted funding, doesn't mean that they can't be in partnership with an organization that did get funding that might be doing something, similar. And we only have so, many resources that can go so far. And so just wondering what your conversations are with organizations respective to this grant or not in doing more collaboration and partnering, especially when they have kind of like a shared interest in serving the community.
So we have had the same thought in the past of connecting organizations who, whether one was funded or one was not, or whatever the case may be. We have had discussions about encouraging collaboration. That's what our plan is to do moving forward. Of course, we're fully staffed here at Community Partnerships now, so we're able to.
Congratulations.
Yes, we're able to kind of have a further reach now. Excuse me. So we will be doing that and encouraging collaboration among our funded agencies as well as agencies who maybe applied for funding and was not selected.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Well, if there are no additional comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 121-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 121-23 has been adopted. Resolution number 122-23, resolution authorizing a community partnership grant agreement with Ohio Health Corporation for calendar year 2023 in the amount of $125,000.
Commissioners, this is just a continuation from the first resolution, except for it just includes Ohio Health.
All right. There are no comments or questions. I move for approval of Resolution 122-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Abstain.
Resolution number 122-23 has been adopted with Commissioner Boyce's noted abstention.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Curtis.
Thanks.
All right, on to economic development and planning.
Resolution number 123, resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Columbus Building and Zoning Services Department for electrical inspection services in the amount of $198,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Josh Wareham. I'm the building official for the Franklin County Building Department within Economic Development and Planning. This resolution is for electrical safety inspections. We currently have the position posted within our agency. We're looking for an applicant, but this handles our agreement within the City of Columbus. This will run from January 1st of last year, which is 2022, and it'll continue through December 31st of this year, 2023. Pending any questions, we request approval for this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 100-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 123 has been adopted. Resolution number 101-23, resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Columbus Building and Zoning Services Department for residential building review services in the amount of $25,000.
Commissioners, this is the resolution from last year, from February of 2022 to July of 2022. I, as the building official, had an absence, and this had the City of Columbus went into agreement with them to handle our residential building official duties at that time. Pending any questions, we request approval for this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 101-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 10123 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Resolution number 10223. Resolution authorizing the First Amendment to Resolution number 13322 with the Wells Foundation for the COVID-19 Small Business Response and Recovery Program in the amount of $4,773,500.
Good morning, Commissioners, Administrators, and staff. As previously mentioned, this resolution will authorize the First Amendment of the COVID-19 Small Business Response and Recovery Grant Agreement with the Wells Foundation, which was adopted on February 22nd of 2022 by Resolution 013322. The Wells Foundation has served as the fiscal agent on behalf of the county and provided financial and performance management of the program funds. To date, the program has had a total of 5,131 applications and 1,499 eligible applicants have been approved for an award. Programs like these demonstrate the continued need for small business assistance as they move from surviving to thriving coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. The most recent program status summary forecasted a shortage of roughly $547,000 in funding that would cause approximately 100 eligible small businesses not to receive recovery assistance absent the provision of additional funding. The City of Columbus has made a commitment to also contribute toward this estimated total funding shortage. This resolution seeks your approval for an additional $273,500 to the Wells Foundation to cover a portion of the estimated funding shortage. This agreement will be supported by funds awarded to Franklin County by the United States Department of Treasury through the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds established under Title IX of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Joining us virtually today is Tony Wells, the president of the Wells Foundation. And pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
Mr. Wells?
Mr. Wells, if you're available.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. Do you have anything to add?
No, it's been a pleasure over the last 18 months to work with Franklin County, the City of Columbus, and Columbus State Small Business Development Centers. It's one of the areas that we're looking forward to in the future is that we have contracted Ohio University to follow up and do a research project on this grant-making program. And so far, the initial results have been for every dollar that we've invested, we've been able to create $2.92 of economic and social benefit to the community. And so we look forward to presenting the final report to you in July of this year.
Great, thank you.
I have a question, Mr. President. Does that final report also include, there was like an analysis being done by, I think, Ohio University as well over the program?
That's one and the same.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All right. If there are no additional comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 102-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes,
Resolution number 10223 has been adopted.
thank you.
Resolution number 10323. Resolution authorizing an affordable housing development agreement with Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority to receive funding through the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund for the support of a magnet fund project in the amount of $660,000.
Commissioners, this next resolution, again, is to authorize an affordable housing development agreement with the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority, otherwise known as CMHA, in the amount of $660,000 in support of a magnet fund project. CMHA is a nonprofit independent federal agency providing housing assistance for low-income and elderly families. With over 4,500 units throughout Franklin County, CMHA not only provides housing, but also builds healthy community environments in which our residents can live with safety, comfort, and dignity. CMHA has received a letter of eligibility for housing credits from the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, determining this project as eligible to receive the 4% low-income housing tax credit award, which is a foundational requirement of the Magnet Fund program. Under the terms of this agreement, CMHA will develop 44 units of sustainable urban senior housing project called McKinley Manor, located at address 1034 to 1048 West Broad Street in Columbus, in Franklinton area near the north and south Glenwood Avenue and West Broad intersections. 15 units will be affordable at or under 30% of the median income. 14 units will be affordable at or under 50% of the area median income, and 15 units will be affordable at or under 60% of the area median income. This agreement also will be supported by funds awarded to Franklin County by the U.S. Department of the Treasury through the Corona State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds established under Title IX of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Joining us virtually today, representing Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority, we have Bethany Hahn Ambrosius, who's the Assistant Vice President of Planning and Development, and their legal counsel, Abs Akafur of Baker Hustler Law. Pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
There are no comments or questions. I move for approval of Resolution 103-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 103-23 has been adopted. Resolution number 104-23. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Tawana M. Caldwell at 1627 Harrisburg Pike, Columbus, Franklin Township, Ohio, 43223.
Good morning. I'm Julissa Tirushalvam, Executive Assistant for EDP. Tawana M. Caldwell received on December 12, 2006 from Franklin County a home loan for $4,300 on real estate, commonly known as 1627 Harrisburg Pike, Columbus. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied. And pending any questions, I respectfully request the approval of the discharge of mortgage on this property.
There are no comments or questions. Move for approval of Resolution 104-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 104-23 has been adopted. Resolution number 105-23. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Dolores Skaggs at 1227 Brown Road, Columbus, Ohio, 43223.
Dolores Skaggs received on September 13, 2001 from Franklin County a home loan for $12,965 on real estate, commonly known as 1227 Brown Road, Columbus. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied, and I respectfully request the approval of the discharge of mortgage on this property.
There are no comments or questions. I move for approval of Resolution 105-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 105-23 has been adopted. Resolution number 106-23. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Rob and Leanne Watkins at 3347 Dover Road, Columbus, Ohio, 43204.
Robin Leanne Watkins received on November 12, 2019 from Franklin County a home loan for $16,076.90 on real estate, commonly known as 3347 Dover Road, Township of Franklin. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied. The property taxes are paid and current, and I respectfully request the approval of the discharge of mortgage on this property.
Thank you. If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 106-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 106-23 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to Job and Family Services.
Resolution number 10723. Resolution approving subaward amendments with Community Refugee and Immigration Services, Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services, Jewish Family Services, and Us Together Incorporated for refugee employability services in the amount of $378,509.96.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner, Chief Administrator. As you know, we are the only county job and family services agency to receive state refugee social service funding. The funding is intended to help eligible newly arrived refugees across the Central Ohio region address challenges and barriers to employment, such as language, education, and work skills. The ultimate goal is to help move these individuals and families who have been impacted by trauma and violence into employment as soon as possible. In September of last year, you authorized our agency to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services to receive funding for this grant. The state notified us in January of an increase in RSS funding. This resolution awards that additional funding to the collaborative partners, Community Refugee and Immigration Services, Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services, Jewish Family Services, and Us Together. Under this agreement, the partners will continue to work together to offer program services to eligible refugees that have arrived in the United States within the past 5 years and initially settled or resettled into the area. The partner agencies will provide refugee supportive services to approximately 685 refugees, including families resettled from Ukraine. This resolution supports goal number 4 of our Rise Together blueprint, and pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 107-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 10723 has been adopted. Resolution number 10823, resolution approving a subaward agreement with Asbury North United Methodist Church on behalf of the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute in the amount of $74,922.04.
Commissioners, the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Institute helps increase parent involvement and foster family unity while promoting lifelong health, safety, and learning. The program puts an emphasis on cultural enrichment, providing parents with social emotional resources and tools to empower positive parenting, problem solving, and engagement in effective conflict resolution. This institute seeks to empower parents and families. The training focuses on underserved populations and assists them in overcoming academic, social, and emotional challenges with an eye on long-term self-sufficiency. Over the initial award period, the Parent Institute will serve in the second award period, I should say. The Parent Institute will serve an estimated 50 families from neighborhoods on the Near East Side, Linden, and the South Sides of Columbus. This award aligns with the Rise Together Blueprint goal number 13. And pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
Thank you so much. If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 108-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 10823 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Vivian. All right, to Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 10923. Resolution authorizing supplemental funds and approval of a subgrant award to the Columbus Kappa Foundation to support their naloxone lay distribution program in the amount of $75,000.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Rochelle Pride, Director for the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. This resolution is presented to the Board of Commissioners for approval of a subaward to the Columbus Kappa Foundation to support the sustainment of its naloxone lay distribution network here in Franklin County. Columbus Kappa Foundation is a philanthropic arm of the Columbus Alumni Chapter and has served as a lay distributor of naloxone and opioid community connector since 2017. County funding will support the immediate needs of the organization and will allow staff from Columbus Kappa Foundation to continue their efforts engaging with grassroots organizations serving zip codes disproportionately impacted by the opioid epidemic. Columbus Kappa currently works with 23 organizations to support their access to Noxalone, which is a life-saving medication. This resolution supports goals 9 and 13 of our Rise Together Blueprint, and pending any questions, we would ask your approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Director. If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 109-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 109-23 has been adopted. Resolution number 110-23. Resolution authorizing a subgrant award with the Derek L. Owens Group, LLC, to provide community-based services for individuals diverted from the prison system and/or at high risk for future criminal justice involvement through the FY 2022-2023 Targeted Community Alternatives to Prison Grant Program in the amount of $50,091.39.
Funding awarded to the Derek L. Owens Group will support the continuation of court diversion alternatives for residents referred from Whitehall Mayor's Court, Reynoldsburg Mayor's Court, and Franklin County Municipal Court who have been charged with criminal and/or traffic offenses that could adversely affect employment, education, housing, and other core dimensions of social determinants of health and criminal behavior. DLOG consultants will be present twice weekly at court to provide on-site case management and resource linkage to services. Community-based brief early intervention groups will be offered as well, to include supplements of alcohol and drug-related awareness, theft prevention, responsible driving, and anger management. DLOG will additionally provide residents access and linkage to education services, intensive job readiness courses, and employment assistance with reinstating driver's licenses and driving privileges, and support to referrals to partner agencies. This resolution supports goal number 4 of our Rise Together Blueprint, and pending any questions, we would ask your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 110-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 110-23 has been adopted. Resolution number 111-23. Resolution authorizing the county administrator to approve a no-cost extension of the grant agreement with the City of Columbus through the FY 20 Justice Assistance Grant as authorized by the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
On April 6, 2022, the Board of Commissioners approved a sub-recipient award in the amount of $143,000 to the Columbus Division of Police to support upgrades to their crime lab. The original award period was scheduled to terminate on June 30th, 2022. However, a no-cost extension through December 31st, 2022 was authorized by the Board of Commissioners due to supply chain issues, procurement delays, and service contract issues, largely a result of the pandemic. The City of Columbus has requested a second no-cost extension for their FY 20 Justice Assistant Grant to allow for the purchase of Crime Lab software, delayed for a myriad of reasons. Pending any questions, we would seek your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 111-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 111-23 has been adopted. Resolution number 112-23. Resolution authorizing 5 subgrant awards for juvenile justice and delinquency prevention programming under the FY 2020 Title V Community Prevention Block Grant in the amount of $165,000.
Franklin County is awarded Title V Community Prevention Block Grant funding from the Ohio Department of Youth Services for the purpose of developing and/or enhancing youth delinquency prevention programs in Franklin County. On October 18, 2022, pursuant to Resolution Number 0767-22, the Board authorized the receipt of the FY 20 Title V Block Grant in the amount of $235,000. This resolution requests the approval of the following sub-grant awards for the FY 20 Title V Block Grant. All That, which is the Community Helping Individuals Prepare for Success program designed to provide at-risk youth with positive youth development programming. Big Brothers and Big Sisters, who will utilize grant funding to create up to 40 community-based mentoring relationships for Franklin County minority youth ages 11 to 17 who have a parent in prison or jail and who live in households with annual incomes of less than $50,000. Breaking Barriers, who will also assist with development programming for girls and families of color. in collaboration with Columbus Public Schools, who reside in identified areas of concentrated poverty in Franklin County. The Central Ohio Youth for Christ, which will utilize grant funds to provide comprehensive mentoring and positive youth development for 50 youth ages 11 to 18 in our Franklinton neighborhood. And lastly, the Godman Guild Teen Employment and Education Network program aimed at helping youth residing in urban core neighborhoods of Wyland Park, grades 6 through 12, prepare for post-secondary activities, including education and employment. Pending any questions, we would seek your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 112-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 11223 has been adopted. Resolution number 11323, resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding with Columbus Public Health for support of justice programs, including issuance of vital records, in the amount of $20,000.
This resolution is presented to the Board of Commissioners for approval of an MOU with Columbus Public Health for the support of justice programs, including issuance of the vital records. We recognize the importance of coordination across criminal justice, public health, and community organizations to reduce barriers to social services, ensure access to health insurance, and improve short and long-term outcomes for justice-involved individuals. The two agencies further recognize lack of proper identification documents continues to serve as a significant barrier for justice-involved individuals and can even prevent access to critical service like treatment and employment. If there are no questions, we would gracefully ask for your approval of this resolution.
Thank you. If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 113-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 11323 has been adopted.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Public Facilities Management.
Resolution number 11423, resolution authorizing the county administrator to execute a modification to the agreement to implement the county master plan.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Long, Deputy County Administrator. This agreement with a contract modification with Pizzuti Solutions will allow for the efficient and informed implementation of the next steps in the implementation of the high-priority master plan projects in coordination with other county facilities. This agreement includes, but is not limited to, ongoing real estate consulting services related to items such as market rent conditions, site selection evaluations, comparable sales and leasing information, property valuations, et cetera, when county agencies have need for additional county space. It includes assistance with documents for design services for the new child care center downtown and ongoing coordination with that project. High priority master plan implementation for Alum Creek Drive, East Complex operations, and the Franklin Tower office facility, including prosecutor and treasurer's office items, including BOC agency items, and ongoing implementation. Pending any questions, would request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 114-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 11423 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. To Human Resources.
Resolution number 11523, resolution authorizing a contract modification with Ohio Health Corporation for wellness services for Franklin County Cooperative Health Improvement Program in the amount of $3,940,665.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jody Lease, Assistant Director of Franklin County Human Resources. This resolution approves a contract modification with Ohio Health Employer Services. Ohio Health has provided wellness programming and services for Franklin County Cooperative since 2019 and are currently under contract to continue providing these services until December 31st of 2024. Each year, as we gain more knowledge about the preferences of our membership, we take the opportunity to adjust the programs and services offered by the Thrive on Wellness program, and this modification accomplishes some of those adjustments. It adds the Enrich Financial Wellness platform to the existing menu of programs and makes minor adjustments to the scope of work in other areas, including health coaching. Pending any questions, I request approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 115-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Abstain.
Resolution number 11523 has been adopted with Commissioner Boyce's noted abstention. Resolution number 11623. Resolution authorizing a contract modification with United Healthcare Services Incorporated for medical plan administration services for the Franklin County Cooperative Health Improvement Program in the amount of $4 million.
So United Healthcare administers our medical plan that is provided through the Franklin County Cooperative, and this modification incorporates a round of programs to support our members with musculoskeletal or MSK issues, as well as introduces an inclusive family forming benefit. So joining me this morning to assist with any questions about these new programs are Jennifer Bowen and Samantha Borowski. Jen is our senior strategic account executive with United Healthcare, and Sam is vice president of partner solutions with Maven. So musculoskeletal or MSK issues are a top driver both in cost and occurrence for the cooperative. And the following suite of programs are being introduced to already existing programs and services to further support our members facing these concerns. The first program is Orthopedic Health Support, or OHS, and it provides access to a team of specialized nurse care managers that engage members, hopefully early in the stage of their treatment, to encourage conservative care when appropriate and advocate for our members who are facing more invasive treatment, including surgical interventions. Members are encouraged to use the network of centers of excellence providers through incentives as well. Kaya, the second program, is a virtual physical therapy program which can be used as an alternative or as an add-on to the physical therapy benefits received in a brick and mortar setting. Kaya services do not count toward the annual therapy visit limit and are free of charge to our members. The third program is Second MD, which is a voluntary virtual second opinion program that really promotes informed treatment decisions. It engages the member as well as the member's physician when applicable to determine whether the treatment that has been described or prescribed is indeed appropriate for the member. The second round of programs is the Family Forming Program introduced through this resolution, and it supports all paths to parenthood and supports the Board of Commissioners' diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. So meaningful medical and pharmacy benefits, including IUI, IVF, and the accompanying fertility medications, as well as egg retrieval, freezing, and storage are included. Additionally, a qualified expense reimbursement program has been implemented for members wishing to grow their families through adoption or surrogacy. Existing United Healthcare clinical management programs are combined with new virtual advocacy services through Maven to assist cooperatives with a full range of family and fertility issues, including but not limited to preconception, miscarriage and loss, breastfeeding, mental health, and sleep and return to work issues. So members also receive 24/7 access to maternity advocates or nurses and specialized assistance through the Neonatal Resources Program when NICU care is needed. Our on-site nurses, Nurse Teresa and Nurse Carmen, work in tandem with United Healthcare and Maven to provide guidance to our members to the appropriate resources and support. And as always, all programs have been designed to promote the use of quality providers. Members are responsible for standard deductible and copay costs for medical care, but all support programs through United Healthcare and Maven are provided at no charge to the member. Pending any questions regarding the two programs in the United Healthcare resolution, I respectfully request approval.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Please.
I don't have any questions. I do have a couple of comments, and thank you so much, Jody, for this information, but also the work that you all have done to provide additional resources for families. I also want to shout out DCA Long for, being a partner and working with my office, even before the Dobbs decision came down, like we had been talking about providing additional resources for families. I know this is transformational for a number of our employees, especially when it comes to IUI and IVF, or just even fertility testing that isn't covered by insurance, that folks can't afford to pay out of pocket. And so, I mean, just expressing my gratitude and saying thank you and appreciation is insufficient for the change that this will make for our employees and their families, or to even start a family, or to expand their family. So I'm just really grateful, and thank you to also our partners with United Healthcare in engaging in this work and providing these resources. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
If there are no additional.
Hey, Jaleesa.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. If there are no additional comments or questions, I move for approval of Resolution 116-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 116-23 has been adopted.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. The Purchasing Department.
Resolution number 117-23. Resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $21,060,972.56.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tracy Matthew, Assistant Director of Purchasing. And joining me is Tamika Bumper, Economic Equity Administrator in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This resolution requests your approval of 270 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. Tamika has the supplier diversity data for the week. Good morning, Tamika.
She's on. Tamika, you're still on mute? We still can't hear you, Tamika?
It won't come up. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Tracy, and good morning, County Administrator and Commissioners. Commissioners, Assistant Director Tracy Matthew is asking for consideration on approval of 37 purchase orders presented to award to 3% of small business enterprises, 7% women business enterprises, and 2% minority in business enterprises. Once approved, 13 agencies will have provided opportunities for equity and inclusion into small businesses. These agencies include Adam H., Auditor, Clerk of Court, Data Center, Emergency Management, Engineer, Franklin County Board of DD, General Services, Justice of Policy and Programs, Public Defenders, Public Facilities and Management, Recorders, and the Sheriff's Office. Back to you, Tracy.
Thanks. Pending any questions, Commissioners, we request your approval of this resolution.
Thank you. If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 117-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 117-23 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, the Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 118-23. Resolution authorizing an amendment to the grant agreement with the Columbus Urban League to provide rental and utility assistance to residents in Franklin County.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Lauren Rummel, Director of Government Affairs and Ethics. This resolution, as was mentioned, authorizes an amendment to the grant agreement with the Columbus Urban League to provide rental and utility assistance to residents in Franklin County. Emergency rental assistance, or ERA, as you know, was authorized by Congress to provide emergency rental and utility assistance to eligible households experiencing financial hardship and at risk of housing instability and homelessness. So at the conclusion of 2022, the Urban League had a remaining queue of households determined eligible for ERA, but funds not remaining. With some additional ERA funding that we were able to request and receive from the U.S. Treasury, we're recommending this amendment to reconcile the amount of the original Columbus Urban League agreement with the actual expenditures incurred to assist these eligible households. So pending any questions, I ask for your approval of this resolution.
Thank you. If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 118-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Same.
Resolution number 118-23 has been adopted with Commissioner Boyce's noted abstention. Resolution number 119-23, resolution authorizing an amendment to the grant agreement with the Community Refugee and Immigration Services to provide rental and utility assistance to new American households.
Commissioners, again, this next resolution authorizes an amendment to the grant agreement with Community Refugee and Immigration Services to provide rental and utility assistance to residents in Franklin County. The amendment clarifies the source of funding to CRIS is ERA 2, the second iteration of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which was authorized under the American Rescue Plan, rather than ERA 1 in the original agreement. The amendment also reconciles the amount of the agreement with the actual administrative expenditures incurred by CRIS to administer the program. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 119-23.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 119-23 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution number 120-23, resolution of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners to convene into executive session for the purpose of considering personnel matters and to confer with the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office concerning pending or imminent litigation.
Move to convene into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, and to confer with the attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 120-23 has been adopted to convene into executive session.